Colorado.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
All
I'm in.
right. I am in the mountains
I know.
right
I saw
now.
your post. I was very jealous about your last skiing.
Oh,
It's like the
good.
last couple of years, I haven't gotten Epic Pass because I've been in South America.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting too. All right. We are live. We are live all over the place.
Nice.
So, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. So happy to be here with you today. Welcome to Live with Leslie. I'm Leslie Vital. And just for those of you that don't know, I specialize in helping functional medicine and functional nutrition professionals to create profitable businesses with multiple streams of income. And of course, as always, if you'd like to learn more about my work, please visit me at leslievital.com. Now, for today's show, you are in for a treat. If you are looking for relatively simple strategies to help boost your visibility, build trust online, and turn website visitors into loyal clients, you are in the right place. So, today we have the pleasure of chatting with my special guest, Ryan Meravi, and he is from VT Web Marketing, VT meaning Vermont. And the title for today's session is Get Found and Booked, building a website that attracts wellness clients. So happy that we are able to chat today, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have this conversation with you, mostly because what we were saying just a few moments ago is, we go into private practice, we get all of our training, we get, all the things in place, the certifications and everything that we need. We shingle, and sometimes it can be a little more challenging than we anticipated in getting that traffic that we need, getting those clients in the door, or as we now are seeing in through the virtual door, right? So let's go ahead and dig in. Before we jump in, though, let me actually I'm going to read your bio just so everyone has a better sense of your
Sure.
work. So Ryan is the founder and CEO of Vermont Web Marketing, where he helps wellness professionals build websites that truly reflect who they are and turn online visitors into loyal clients. He makes local SEO and Google rankings feel simple and doable, so purpose-driven businesses can grow with confidence. So let's jump in to our conversation. So let's just start by talking about the website. So what is your thought around why a strong website is just so critical for our wellness professionals in this day and age?
Sure. I mean, when you talk about the website and everything you put into your digital footprint, your website is really the only asset that you have full control over. So when you are setting up external communities, groups on Facebook, that's great, but you technically don't have control over it. And, some of these things just end up going away. So I always tell people that they should take advantage of their own domain and put as much as they could into building all that stuff into their own website.
Makes sense. Yeah, so it's a really, really important asset,
Oh,
especially
yeah, for
in
sure.
this busy online world that we're in. So what I'd like to ask you, could you share maybe some common mistakes that you see that could really be costing our practitioners clients? What are some common mistakes with these websites that you're seeing?
Yeah, so I think common mistakes would be people trying to do it on their own.
Yeah.
They don't really understand what goes into it. I like to use like car analogies a lot with my clients. So, I can change my oil and things like that. But, when you get into the nuts and bolts of things, you really want to hire a professional because there are just so many things that go into it, which I can get into here in a little bit. So that would be one of the biggest mistakes.
Okay.
Another mistake that I see is they don't prioritize mobile first experiences.
Mm.
Um, so that's another big mistake.
Yeah, because what percentage of website viewers are typically on mobile now? Up
So
there.
on mobile,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know if I have that stat readily
Yeah. It's
available.
high. It's high. I mean,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
when is the last time I looked up a website on my laptop? Couldn't tell you. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, for me, I do work primarily on desktop because I'm a lot faster.
yeah,
And don't get me wrong, there's definitely clients, especially people that are at the office and things like that are
right.
using their desktop.
True.
But really, yeah, the statistics, it's mobile first is
Mobile
really the
first.
way to go when you're designing a website, and then you just pair into the desktop experience,
Oh,
you know,
interesting.
as a secondary.
That is kind of the reverse of how I think most of us think, in all
Oh
honesty.
yeah, yeah,
It's
because
the
you think of a desktop as a bigger landscape. What I mean? You can get more things to look pretty on there,
yeah.
but really you need to optimize for mobile and really for speed.
Okay.
Everything needs to be load extremely fast. You need to get the right content in front of the people right
Mhm.
away. Otherwise, they bounce.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I've heard, oh my gosh, like you only have a few seconds before people just get frustrated and move to the next thing. So yeah, that
Yeah, the
loading.
threshold is, we aim to get sites to load in under 2 seconds.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So there's things to consider there too. I mean, that falls into a lot of the technical stuff that you do and also where you're hosting it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we work with like a lot of WordPress sites that
Yeah.
we have a specific environment that's optimized only for WordPress sites.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So like and it's your own place? Or what is
No,
the word?
we're actually a partner with WP Engine.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
We have a dedicated server there.
Okay.
And then, I've been in the hosting game since 2005.
Okay.
So before I started doing websites and digital marketing, I had experience in there.
Okay.
And things have shifted from like cheap hosting to, managed hosting and optimized for speed and things like that.
I see. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to dig into that more. So, any other mistakes that we want to highlight? So far, what I've heard is trying to do it yourself, right? Which, like many of us want to try to DIY it. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not one of those people. I,
Yeah.
I don't, you wouldn't want me under the hood of any website. I'm just saying, like, so that's not me, but a lot of us here, we do attempt to DIY, right?
Oh
And
yeah, no, and that's
yeah,
fine. I don't knock anyone for doing it, but you got to look at your website as this is your digital storefront. Think of it as your brick and mortar. Like you wouldn't leave your building like shoddy paint with a broken window. You know what I mean? You're going to get people to make it look great.
yeah, agreed.
So
And
um,
then the functionality, right? So the other mistake is it not being mobile optimized first. Any
yes,
other
yeah,
mistakes?
yeah. So basically, it needs to be optimized for mobile first, but then also for multiple devices too, because now you're dealing with devices that have different resolution sizes. So it
Okay.
needs to adhere to like all the different, whether it's a tablet, what year the tablet is. I mean, the resolution on desktops are getting huge. So there needs to be specific breakpoints when you do the design. So that way an image looks great on a desktop, but it also looks great on a mobile device. It also looks great on a tablet.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So, do you have any comments on how someone can know if their website is, doing a good job working for them?
Well, I mean, I would always say to utilize like audits, right? And so you can run audits, but making sure that you have the right tracking tools and analytics in place. We see a lot of people that don't even have the basics installed, like Google Analytics would
Okay.
be the number one thing. I also recommend utilizing software that does like heat mapping and screen recording so you can actually see what the user is doing on each session. An example would be Hotjar is a
Okay.
um, yeah.
Yeah, super helpful. So basically, we need to have analytics, and there's a lot of other tools that we can um, utilize to kind of more deeply understand the user experience.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Then there's also two things like adding in surveys. A lot of people don't ask their users for feedback, which
Okay.
is extremely important because they're the ones using the website. And a
Okay.
lot of people say, "Oh, we want to redesign the site because we don't like the way it looks." Well, to me, that's just like one of the weirdest things I could hear because I want to see what is wrong with the site and how it should be redesigned, to convert more leads into customers.
Okay.
What's working, what's not, you know what I mean?
Okay. So maybe one of your suggestions then is to have some kind of a survey that asks visitors for feedback.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Okay.
And there's different platforms you could use. Hotjar actually has that um, as one of their features.
Interesting. Okay. Very cool. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about SEO.
Okay.
So, for those of us here that maybe are not familiar with that language, that's search engine optimization. And what I'd like to find out from Ryan, because this is a really hot topic, is what is local SEO and why is that important for our wellness-based businesses?
Yeah. So local SEO is different than competing against keywords on a national level. So if you're a chiropractor,
Mhm.
say in New York City, you're going to be optimizing the website for people that are actually within your local search area because most people wouldn't travel more than 20 minutes to see a practitioner.
Mhm.
It might even be less depending on where you live. So near me searches are like critical to basically be coming up, from a local perspective.
Oh, right. Like,
And it's all,
dietitian near me, naturopathic doctor near me.
yeah,
Okay, got it.
and that goes by zip code, right? Or really,
Okay.
no, it goes by what mobile device you're using.
Okay.
And it knows, so Google's so smart that it'll know your position, right? And if there's, say, you're sitting in a strip mall just on your phone, and if there's a chiropractor on one side and another one on the other side, it's got to figure out who to display first for you
Oh,
based upon where you are. So that's where making sure you're optimized for local SEO is extremely important because it'll show one of your competitors potentially in front of you if your SEO is not up to par.
okay. So, and that's called local SEO.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what we focus on. I really tend to stay away from like national SEO.
Okay. For health practitioners specifically, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends if they're looking to expand into doing telehealth where they could do multi-state stuff, then you
Mhm.
can build content around the locations that they're serving, right, from the state perspective.
Okay.
Um, but still, local SEO, I would say there's no like faking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's as long as you have it if you put it in place and it's accurate what you're doing, then you should have no problem coming up in a local search.
Okay.
And
Um,
that starts with like Google My Business, but it doesn't end there too, because
okay.
there's Bing Local, there's Apple Maps, there's
Right.
many different sites that contribute to your local SEO score or your rankings.
Okay. So yeah, obviously, if someone is on their phone or their computer or whatever, and they're looking for a practitioner of a certain type, you want to pop up on
Yes,
whose page,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And one tip for all the wellness,
Yeah.
all the wellness clients that have like a physical location, um, on page, like on your website, you want to make sure that your title tag, right, at least on your homepage, contains your like what service you are. So if you're a chiropractor or say a naturopathic doctor, you want it to say naturopathic doctor and the city and typically the state that you're in. And a lot of
Okay.
people miss that.
Okay.
Yeah, that the title tags on pages are the second most important ranking factor,
Okay.
except for the content on the pages, because they basically tell Google and the search engines what that page is about.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. And that seems like a pretty easy fix, right?
No, it is. Yeah, and that's why we see a
Low
lot of
hanging fruit.
people. Yeah, exactly. I always say go with the high priority, low hanging fruit stuff first.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend an arm and a leg. I mean, this isn't rocket science that we're doing. It's more just adhering to what the search engines want to see,
Okay.
and even like correct categorization in your Google listing. A lot of people don't add in the right categories for their business, and therefore they're missing out.
I see. Okay. Okay, so that's for local SEO, which you're recommending, even if the practitioner is really focused on virtual sessions, right? If they don't have a brick and mortar, is it the same or is it different?
No, because there's two different types. There's actually local SEO for people that want to get people to come into their brick and mortar. Then
Okay.
there's also service-based businesses. So that falls into what you're talking about if you're doing
Okay.
telehealth in multiple
Yeah.
locations. So you can tell Google, I'm a service-based location. You don't have to show your address either. And you
Okay.
say where you go, like what your service area is. I'm
I
not saying
see.
that, I'm not saying that you're going to rank as high, but,
Mhm.
from someone that has a brick and mortar in that specific area, but that would be the best practices to go about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great, easy tip, I think. So any other simple things that people can do right now to improve their visibility online?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say to start with, I have some notes actually. If I can get them. So, things that I would recommend like right away would be to claim and optimize your Google business profile.
Okay.
Believe it or not, like 46% of wellness types of businesses haven't claimed their Google My Business profile.
Okay.
And 42% of all searches that come through Google My Business are related to wellness.
Okay. That's
Um,
significant.
so claim if you haven't claimed and optimize your Google business profile. And when I mean optimize, you want to basically fill it out as best you can with as much detail as you can. Adding photos would be huge because photos, there's seven times more click-throughs with businesses that include photos than
Okay.
non-photos. Respond to all reviews. I mean, negative, positive, in a timely manner,
Okay.
because that basically gives you a bump up. Also, ask for reviews and
Okay.
try to get. I always recommend that you create a template for your clients. on how to properly give you a good review.
Okay.
And that, you know, that includes adding specific keywords like talking about the service, about the value, about the outcome,
Okay.
because that helps where Google will actually prioritize people with more thorough reviews that address questions that people or things people would want to know about that business. You
And a
know?
lot of times people, they mean well, but they don't know what to say.
Yeah, so I'll even go as far as writing the review for my client. You
Okay.
know, I mean, it's if they, you know, I mean, it's not really, it's just a suggestion.
Right. Yeah, they can change it, they can
Yeah,
modify it, but honestly, I would be, that would work for me. Because
yeah,
sometimes, you wanna be helpful. Sometimes it's not always clear, like, what are you looking for in this review? So I think that's a great option.
yeah,
Um,
and also
yes.
getting the reviews into like an automated system where, you know,
Mm,
they leave your office. So like having a tool that helps get the review out there, because I don't know the exact number, but you want to hit the people right away,
yes.
especially if they're happy. Maybe if they had a bad experience, you might not
Yeah,
want to
maybe
send that
not
to
so
them.
much, but yeah, most
But
people are gonna be happy.
yeah, of course. Yeah. And, you know,
So we wanna
obviously,
are you saying we wanna automate that process?
yeah, there's,
Okay.
so whether it's in, you know, some of the patient portal stuff, like the billing systems, have
Mhm.
that the ability to create like a follow-up email right after their thing. And then you can include, you know, please leave us a review,
Okay.
just have like a template for that. There's also third-party systems. Like we have a third-party system that allows people to upload names and phone numbers where they can either email or SMS people
Okay.
right away. And then it funnels into the different review, like also diversify your reviews, right? So Google's obviously number one, but there's also niche sites in the health industry that
Okay.
people you'd probably want reviews in.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. Okay. That, I mean, just that in of itself is super, I mean, really valuable.
Yeah.
I'd love if anyone's willing to share in our audience. Do you have a system set up to get Google reviews? Curious, huh? I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, any feedback that you have and or questions. Now is a good chance for you to get those questions answered. Okay, so those are awesome. Love those tips. Now, so many, and we were talking about this, Ryan, before we went live. Are the recommendations the same then? Because some of our practitioners are working online, they don't have brick and mortar, and maybe they are wanting to attract a wider audience, right? Maybe they're wanting to do group programs and the specific state is not as relevant. So, would you still do these same strategies?
Yeah, we would do the same strategy, but we wouldn't put the address, right? So you still
Okay.
need from local SEO. I mean, it's still SEO,
Okay.
local or not, but one of the things is building, and it's like part of the foundational elements is building, you know, your brand out on additional sites, right?
Mhm.
So that would consist of what we call citation sites. And a
Oh, yeah.
citation, the definition of a citation is any website that has your business information, including the name, address, phone number.
Okay. So, like, would that be like a directory listing?
Yeah, it could.
My
Yeah,
fancy
certainly.
call
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So, you know, exactly. It could just be a link on someone else's website, but as long as your name, address, phone number are on there, then it would
Mhm.
be considered a citation site. So that could be Yelp, that could be Google My Business, it could be
Yeah.
Apple Maps, it could be, you know, tons of ones out there.
Okay.
And what they do is they help. That is actually a great place to audit too, because a lot of people don't know where their business is online, and they a lot of times don't have accurate information about the business.
Mhm.
So we can run like an in-depth audit that finds every mention of their brand, even including old, like if they've moved, right? So we can find erroneous information with the wrong address and go ahead and update that
Interesting.
stuff. but that gives them a great opportunity to see what their business looks like on these sites that they may not even have ever added anything to them, and then adjust it as necessary, because you want your brand to be consistent across the whole web. It's kind of like your digital footprint. We could audit that whole thing, which is awesome.
Right. Okay. Yeah, let me share a quick comment. Thank you, Valerie, and welcome. So Calyx integrated with, how do you say that? Rupugan, something like that, and sent out a text and email asking for a review. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's like their systems.
EMR,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. Okay, I'm not familiar with that application, but I think the bottom line is hopefully, Valerie, let me know if that's working. Are you getting a good outcome from this integration? It sounds good to me. Anything that can make this process just streamlined, I think is really going to help. So
Yeah, I mean,
think about it.
reviews are, and then there's things that, like, okay, on your Google My Business, like things that actually contribute to their ranking algorithms.
Yeah.
And reviews is huge.
Okay.
I mean, there's some things that don't matter either, that people think contribute, but they don't.
Okay.
And there's old tactics and stuff. So really, it's about proper categorization. Also, to getting reviews. I would say those would be the two things to focus on, and including photos and building out the profile. Some people feel like,
number one takeaway so far is get moving with Google reviews, make it a huge priority, automate that process if you can, and answer every single review, comment, right?
Because it's always, even bad reviews they're expected. But
speaking of which, hey, Joe, welcome. So Joe has a great question. What is the best way to deal with a negative review? I've heard all kinds of strategies, so I can't wait to see and hear what Ryan has to say.
So Joe's a jokester because he works with me. But this is a great question, Joe.
Joe, thank you for that great question.
Joe loves dealing with negative reviews. But no, so the best way to deal with a negative review is to be honest. I always say, never lie, never, BS a story that's not true. If you messed up, take ownership of it.
Okay.
And then correct it. It's a learning experience. We're all human, right? Sometimes in business, we're going to mess up.
What if it's a bogus thing, like just completely?
Well, if it's like someone that isn't a customer, you can actually, there's ways to flag those, you know what I mean? So we can deal with that because we have like an in with Google My Business kind of, and know how to navigate their support. You can flag them and they can be removed if you hold up your case. But typically you would just say, like, we don't know who you are. You know what I mean? We don't think you're a customer. Just be real. If you have a problem, direct message us, you know what I mean? But we don't see you in our system.
Okay. Yeah. Great tip. And then just want to comment. So Valerie said, as a result of this new integration with her EMR, she indeed is getting more Google reviews, which is great.
That's awesome.
Okay. I'm really happy to hear that. Can you share maybe a quick success story or maybe even an example of how these specific strategies we've been talking about actually really made a difference?
Yeah, so we had a client that had two different locations, and this goes into like where there's erroneous information, right? So people were calling the one number and trying to get directions to a different office, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is we went in, we made sure that we went into all their listings, found it with the wrong number, corrected it, and then people were actually getting directions to the right place. So that's an example of like things that could piss people off, and you know what I mean, and send people to the wrong places. So yeah, that's a good example.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, so fixing erroneous addresses and information. Yeah, that's so.
Yeah, and then with reviews, we see people, go from say like fifth or not even like in the top three local pack
Mhm.
and start building out the reviews. And like a month or two later, now they're showing up in the local pack into the top
Oh,
three positions.
okay.
Yeah, so there's always, positive gains from doing these things.
Okay. Love it. Super powerful. So, what would you recommend is a good next step for our audience who is you pique their curiosity and they want to do some of the things that you're suggesting? Maybe they want to even go deeper. What would be a good next step for our audience?
So I think the first step would be we have a local audit tool on our
Okay.
website,
Ah,
and that would be a great place so they can see the bigger picture.
okay.
So if they go on there, they
Here,
can
and by the way, just want to interject real quick so everybody knows this is the website, Ryan's website. It's Vermont, so vtwebmarketing.com.
yeah, slash audit.
Oh, okay,
Or
slash.
there's also a call to action right in the top right. Get your free audit.
Yes.
It does take a little bit of setting up. It takes a few minutes.
Okay.
But if you get your information in there, then I could always expand. One of us can expand on the audit.
Okay.
So we reach out to them and see if they want a more. Yeah, Joe says audit's free. So we could take that and then, we could even, if they give us access to Google My Business and Google Analytics, we could pull in real-time data into these reports. So they're specific for local SEO. It'll also so it shows all the different listings, right, of where their site or where their business is listed on these different citation sites. It shows where there's errors. If they have like an old address or an old phone number,
Mhm.
you could email that and we can look up to see where, there's old information. It also, I'll add in like keywords so we could show them where they rank in Google local,
Mhm.
all the different search engines against their competitors. I'll find their competitors. So we
Okay.
do some competitive spying. We do some ninja stuff over there.
Yeah, I love that.
And then you can see, and then it shows too. What's great is it shows like these little quick takeaways. I mean, things to improve on.
Okay.
And it'll also do an audit on their website from an SEO perspective. It'll show technical issues that are going on. It'll show things that they're missing, whether it's title tags, meta descriptions, poor, long load times, things
Okay.
like that. So yeah, we'll be able to see and then say, hey, these are priority issues that should be worked on. That's what we always try to do is let's take care of low hanging fruit, like we said before, and let's fix the high priority items that will give you the most bang or most results, really. Bang for your buck.
Yeah, that I love that. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so the bottom line here, guys, is I would reach out and do this free audit. It's vtwebmarketing.com/audit. And yeah, see what you can learn, right? And some of these quick fixes that can really, really make a difference in your business. Now, we
Yeah.
do have a question.
Oh yeah, from Anne.
Yeah, so Anne
What a
wonders
great
about
question.
investing in professional photos. I know I have my opinion on that, but
100%. There's
yes,
nothing worse than stock photography
yeah,
because it does not represent who you are.
yeah. And
And
I don't
professional, it's
like doing like your own phone photos, not so much, right? Because that's just not
well, depends on what phone you're using.
okay.
But yes, there's nothing better than hiring a photographer, getting
Yeah,
it staged, getting lighting, getting your staff
totally.
involved, personalizing it.
Okay.
I mean, some people want us to do stock photography. I just start crying.
Uh
No.
It's enough to bring a website designer to tears.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Oh my God, that's great. That is so
Yeah.
funny. Out
Because
of all my
it doesn't
years,
truly show who you are. So it's like
it doesn't.
when someone comes into they want to see who they're
They
working
want to see you. They want to look into your eyes, not
with.
like
Exactly.
some
Yeah.
random stock photo of a bunch of fruit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, don't
And
do that.
don't generate AI photos.
Yeah, that's
Well,
another thing.
sometimes they're fun, but yeah, no.
So, like, I will say, out of all my years, so I've been at this what almost 11 years. So I've looked at a lot of websites. I am not a website designer, to be clear, but I've looked at a lot. And I think I can think of one person who so she had a DSL camera and she set it up on a tripod and she put it on a timer. And I do think that's the one time where I've seen a kind of a self-made photo for the website turn out really, really well. But I think she had a great, a high quality camera. The lighting was good. Like she kind of knew what she was doing, and it turned out well. But I would say for the most part, just get someone else to do it. And you don't have to break the budget, right? Like there are people who, are maybe just getting started in photography. If you can find those kind of people, that's really great.
Sure.
So you're in this online space, that's what you're working with, right? Your image really is a big part of your brand.
Oh, of course, yeah. And then that's the other thing that I always recommend is people take the time to actually get, like we offer branding packages that are pretty basic, but start off with the logo, like get some professional assets too,
Yeah.
because you really need to set your brand identity because that's going to go across all your different mediums. Like we
Okay.
were talking earlier before this, like when we set up and help someone like basically style out their full script, store, we're
Mhm.
going to want it to match. You know what I mean?
So
You
it
want
looks
it
like
to
a
be a seam,
continuation of the
yeah,
website.
you want it to be like seamless so people feel like, whether they're logging into their patient portal, that the branding stays consistent across everything. So you know where you are,
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So, what can I do if I have a low budget?
So, I mean, obviously, if you're starting out and stuff, you could choose, like, we typically try to do custom websites. We don't, when we build a WordPress site, we're building it from a design up
Okay.
based upon the client's branding and or
Mhm.
help them with branding. So that's really where, you can get a theme that you can just skin over.
Okay.
We don't really recommend that because it's like they all look the same, but it's certainly a way to lower the budget, right? To cut back on
To
design
have a
work.
theme.
Yeah.
Okay. Versus um, a completely personalized type of website. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen at least two of my clients have, you've built their websites and they're absolutely gorgeous. Love, love, love
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
about them. They
Aya's came out. Actually, her review was like
beautiful.
one of the most, I think, like, yeah, Google like labeled it as like the most relevant review too from her.
Oh,
And
no kidding. Do we
yeah,
have permission to share?
because I think it said that it reflected their vision, their look and feel. Is extremely
Do we
important.
have can I do a quick is that okay? Do we have, I
Sure.
assume it would be okay?
Absolutely.
Do you wanna share it on your end, or
Um, sure, I could present.
are you able to do that? Just to give people a sense. They're really, really beautiful. Okay, just give us a second, guys, and we'll show you. So AYA.
Trying to find. Oh, that's current that.
Okay, let me see if it pops up for me. Yep, okay, I think this is it right here.
You want to do it? You could do
Or
it.
if you've got it ready, go for it. Okay. Add to stage. Okay. It's a beauty.
Yeah, and they did give us some assets, which were good. Are you able to see the tab?
Yeah, I can see it. Yep. There we go. Okay. Just that, the feel. Okay. Join our in-person community events. Love that. So we have a little pop-up here.
Yeah. So
Right.
obviously things like this are extremely important too.
Okay. Great. Beautiful. So love it. Are you ready to take charge of your health and well-being? Okay.
Yeah, I really like the icon set Larissa helped build out.
The icons are beautiful.
Yeah, our designer like loves working in this space too.
So those are icons that were specially designed for them.
I don't know, Joe. You might want to comment on that. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, they're beautiful.
They might have given them to us. I don't know if Larissa did them. Joe, Larissa did.
Okay.
So here you have your call to actions. That's the other thing too. That's another thing that I see a lot of is people don't have right call to actions. That's huge. Like in life, you need to give people direction, right? Especially on websites. So you don't want to give them options. You want to be very direct with them. So the stronger the call to action, the better off it is.
Okay. Great.
Let her sign up.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, and then we've got the Instagram feed.
Exactly.
Which is cool. I like that. Yeah, really beautiful work. You guys did a great job.
And then here, I'll pop on Dr. Whalen's site real quick, because she's actually integrated some stuff. Plus, I love to give her a shout out.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
So all right.
Fertility care.
Dr. Jessica, if you're listening, we love you.
Yes. And I'll get back to your email. Sorry, I didn't forget about you.
Okay. Well, this is a gorgeous website as well. And this is drwhalen.com.
Yes.
And this is one of our mutual clients specializing in fertility. So more from a naturopathic perspective, because she's a naturopathic doctor.
She's pregnant too, by the way.
Yes, congrats.
She told me, so I'm just saying it again because we're excited.
Yeah. So
this kind of morphed. We did a few more things. Like it started small. We added a blog.
Okay.
She's doing a very basic SEO plan with us, but we saw some great results. She paused it, and then I said, "Look, look how far you've gone."
Yeah.
And we're only doing we can do small plans too. Typically our minimum's 10 keywords.
Okay.
And a 6-month plan, because you really need SEO doesn't happen overnight, right?
Yes. It's not a one and done. It just isn't.
But we're working with her, and I grandfathered her in, so we can do something smaller, especially if maybe multiple people want a smaller plan. We can take care of that. So here, this is her full script store. This is what I was talking about with.
Yeah, let's see what she's
making it, as close as possible to what we could.
Can you click that or take us to her? Because one of the things that I love, shout out to FullScript and all the possibilities there. I really like what she did with all those protocols.
Oh, you're talking about here. I know where you're.
Yeah.
So I believe that was under.
So I know this is a little bit of a different topic, but I know we've got practitioners here that really want to ramp up their FullScript. So this is one of the things. I think it's under. Is it under store?
Yeah, you're right. Well.
Yeah. So we go under.
No, I think there's hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think it's some of the is it that, not the application.
Yes, we've got an application. And And then she's got the protocols for full script. I thought it was under store.
Okay, good luck.
Give it a try.
So here, maybe I could continue.
In the meantime, you can see how beautiful the site is and how, it's really clear. Like you've got 3 options here. Learn more about the Healthy Hormone Program. Another service she does is the Creighton model, fertility care, and then a prenatal program. So very clear with the call to action being fill out this application and let's get your session booked.
Yes, yeah, and that's extremely important for these type of websites that you're booking here, because people expect to be able to book online.
Okay, yeah, that's really true.
And have links to like the portals and things like that. But here's what you're talking about. So she has plans, right?
Yep.
I could use some vitamin D, so I'll take a look at that. So these are the supplements that she's recommending.
Oh, wait, hang on. I'm not seeing the supplements. I don't know.
Oh, maybe, hold on.
Yeah, I just see from my happy clients.
From my happy clients?
I'm seeing, let's chat about working together.
Let me switch this. I think I'm sharing the wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. In the meantime, okay. Yeah, let's take a look at this and then we're going to answer Anne's question and then we're going to have to wrap up. So, okay, great. Can you show us her page, like with all the images of the protocols?
Yeah, that's what. Like this one? Oops.
Well, not in full script, the web page that you.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to find.
Yeah, it's under store. If you hover store.
Protocols,
protocols. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is what I wanted to share. So yeah, so Jessica put together all these different protocols, which is, it's very attractive. It's compelling. And I think it's a really great way to up-level her full script. So this is really so helpful. So you can click, then you click the learn more button, and then that's what takes the person into full script. So they can see the actual protocol and, order whatever they want. So love that. Now.
Yeah. So like I just clicked on protocols and then it went. I did hot flashes, I believe.
Yep.
That'll take them right into the specific supplements that help with the hot flashes.
Yeah. So I love that. I think that is super effective. So basically then she could be talking about hot flashes and, maybe she's on social media doing a live stream, or maybe she's doing a story, whatever the case is. And then she could have all of these protocols actually listed in her link tree in her Instagram as well, which I've seen people do really, really well with that. So let me ask you, so we have a question from Anne. Do you offer plans for small business?
Yes, we do actually. We offer a few different levels of, depending on how big the website is. If they're some like people that are starting versus, it depends on how many pages. So if they're looking for a custom design, or they're looking for more of us to skin over a template.
Okay.
To be honest, we usually always do a custom design anyway.
Okay. That's your preference.
It's just the way we roll and feel like, so if someone's starting, we're going to, get them into a plan that will allow them to grow. We offer, a lot of people love WordPress sites. I mean, that's what we're building, and we can build on other things, Squarespace and stuff, but really WordPress, we feel, is the best platform out there because it allows for future growth. You can incorporate, courses and things like that. So we offer very affordable ongoing maintenance plans that cover the hosting, but they also cover support time. And our support time, I patent it as web anything support, because the word no doesn't come out of my mouth.
I
I
love
just,
that.
you know what I mean? It's
Not
just
part
not
of your
something I say.
vocabulary.
So if
That's
you
good.
have a question, any question, I will find the answer. I mean, there's an answer to everything. And so if it's not something in our wheelhouse, we work with people that can facilitate it. But we're here to help these businesses grow. I love working with small business, and um, especially in this niche. So yeah,
Okay.
these plans give also too, like, so a lot of people will send us over. Okay, here's my blog post. Get it up on there. And if you're on a plan, we try to get it done within 24 hours.
Oh,
If there's
okay.
a problem, we'll let them know. If it's something like a new functionality, we might, scope it out and say, this is outside of the plan. Here's what it's going to
Right.
cost. But also, too, the time could be used for consulting. Like, let's hop on a call and talk about your ideas, like
Okay.
how we can help market you.
Wow. That's above and beyond. Just saying.
Yeah, no,
It really is. Yeah.
that's the one thing in business that, like this business specifically, I don't want to be one of these huge agencies that is just a number. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
do know.
yeah.
I don't refer any of my clients to big agencies because that's what ends up happening. And you
Yeah,
don't even
plus
focus on
plus
the
you're
word.
getting charged outrageous prices. We
Yeah.
have a small office with affordable rent, so
Mhm.
we're able to extend, a lower price based upon our lower overhead.
Yeah. That's great. All right. So we are about at time. Time flies when you're having fun, as they say.
Oh, here's another thing
Oh,
too
yeah.
that we offer,
Yeah.
which a lot of people don't offer. We actually offer payment plans, so
Oh,
we can extend if someone's like opening a new practice, they don't
yeah.
have the budget. We will actually extend a plan, like
Okay.
pay it over time,
So nice.
and we don't charge interest. We should, but we
Oh my
don't.
gosh. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So guys, yeah, you saw two of Ryan's beautiful, extremely functional websites. But they do a lot more. Like, so websites is obviously a big part of the work that they do currently, but SEO, there's just a lot of different things that they can help you with. So my recommendation,
Google Ads too.
Google Ads. Oh,
We'll audit and
okay.
like, so if someone wants to see what they're currently spending, we can try to get their cost per click down and create a plan for that,
Okay.
and try to, like,
Fabulous.
the idea is that we're saving people money too.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I gotta say, Google Ads can be a little confusing. I wouldn't try to do it
Yeah,
myself, just saying. Uh, but the thing I personally like about Google Ads is you're attracting people that are actively searching for help.
of course. Yeah.
Versus now I do Instagram, Facebook ads all the time. I kind of view that a little differently. Google Ads, I think they can be really effective in actually the conversion of, them seeking advice, seeking answers online, and that person actually converting into a paid patient or client. And
Yeah,
it's because
sure.
it's an active process, right? They're not, yeah, it's just different.
Yeah,
So,
it's all a numbers game. What is it going to cost you know, for these keywords?
right.
What is, how many people are actually going to click on it? What's the conversion rate?
Yeah.
So if those numbers add up and what your service is, what's your ROI on it? You know what I mean? That's really what
Yeah.
needs to be determined.
That's all exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to have to wrap up. Any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share before we bring things to a close, Ryan? I have your email posted here. So anyone in our audience that's interested in reaching out, if you have questions, you can reach out to Ryan at vtwebmarketing.com. I've also shared the site for an audit. So it's vtwebmarketing.com/audit. That'll take you right to the auditing tool.
Yeah, the button's right there too. I need to
Okay.
add my booking link, but there's also, it's book.vtwebmarketing.com,
Okay.
and that'll get to the 30-minute consultation. There's a
Okay.
couple other ones, but the top one would be the one.
Okay.
Also, too, for people that have an existing WordPress site,
Yeah.
we can work with that. We can
Okay.
put them on a plan, so that way, whether it's monthly or they pay annually,
Okay.
we can take the time. We have different times, so we can always, it should never be stagnant. There's always things we can find to help improve.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
we'll take on clients that we might not have initially built the website for, if it's
Okay.
in WordPress.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm
Yeah.
sure that covers a lot of people here as well. Yeah, and just let Ryan know that you learned about him through this live stream, and he'll take extra good care of you. And all right, guys, so we are going to have to wrap today. So thank you, everyone. This was such a great topic. A big thank you to Ryan for investing your time with us and sharing
Thank you.
your words of wisdom, some really, really solid tips and low-hanging fruit that you can actually go out and implement immediately. And if you, again, reach out to Ryan and his team, they'll take really good care of you at, well, you can, again, the website, vtwebmarketing.com, or you can email ryan@vtwebmarketing.com. So either way, I think sounds like it'll work out. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Hope this was super helpful, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. All right, bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Take care.